You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface. Show recording is on dual channel.
Let's make sure we're live here. Get my mic by my mouth. Well, that sounded weird. I think we're live. I think.
You think?
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 60% sure.
Well, that's better than 40%.
Kind of tip the scale, you know? Yeah, we're live. Let me pull this open here. Do all of those little windows that you love about, you know, all of this jazz. Oh, shoot. Hey, everybody. Eric and Greg here. We're just getting ready to go live for our Rut Club Radio. What's up? How's everyone doing?
How are you doing?
Good. I'm all fired up in a weird way.
You're always fired up in a weird way.
That's great. All right. You unpack the how was our hunt. I'm going to get some more windows open here. Do my thing there.
How was our hunt?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about opening weekend?
Yeah, you saw the most deer.
I did.
And you
see
weren't
them.
here last week for Rut Club Radio, so you got word vomit a little bit.
You want me to add to it?
Yeah.
Okay. Last weekend, opening day, 3 deer for me, which I want to say is probably a normal number, no matter where I hunt.
Okay.
Opening day has always got the most activity for sightings. So, 2 bucks, 1 doe. Did not see anything but hunters when I found my way to the stand in the dark.
We had some problems.
We did have some problems.
like we had some real problems.
Yeah,
like everyone
navigation problems. Like, turn around and what is this guy doing right on top of me?
Mm-hmm.
Problems.
And like straight up confusion about. This happened one of the first years I ever went to that property with some of the buddies I brought for the first time ever hunting. Yeah. They got so turned around in those hills and valleys, and
that's
they
exactly
thought
what
they were
it
on
is.
one ridge when they were really on the other.
Yeah.
And then they thought, I was some other hunter. They're like, this asshole. I'm like, dude, it's me. You guys are on the wrong ridge. Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah, it happens. It's public, and anybody can go anywhere, and
you never know what you're gonna get either.
You don't know. So, but we totally cleared that ridge of any deer, for sure. That might have been bedding in the middle. As I was in with 2 other guys, and then your dad, and Mike was the lucky person to have stumbled upon my location.
Mike did?
Yeah, and sat down 60 yards away.
That's right. Yeah.
So I sat there till 9 o'clock going, man, this guy still hasn't moved. I think he's sleeping over there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I bailed. I tore my stand and my sticks down and took a walk, and then ended up finding some good stuff. Saw a buck. Didn't identify it right away. I was looking at a rub and a scrape, and out of the corner of my eye saw movement. So I just slowly turned and looked, and it had just stood up and it had wheeled around and turned to look back at me. And by the time I had my stand and my sticks on my back, so I'm trying to yank my rifle loose and sight in on it. And by the time I got sighted in, it was booking through the trees, and these are all 3 and 4 inch thick trees, and they're stacked like cordwood in there. It's a thicket. I mean, you were in there, you saw it.
It's pretty thick back there.
And it winds
But that's
around.
why he was back there, too.
Yeah, that's why it was back there, because it was a bench below the ridge, below the top of the ridge line, and we had a southwest wind, so it was blowing right over his back. He could look right at that trail that I walked in on. It was perfect for him. So all I could do is I could see one beam and a couple of tines off one side, and tried to follow him through all that thick stuff. While doing so, he hit a clearing, and I just had heard a car drive by towards that clearing, and I looked, and there was the road. So I'm not familiar with the area. The road's over in that direction. I'm not taking that shot. Mm-hmm. I had a clearing where I could have pulled the rifle up, shouldered, and probably squeezed off around. I'm just not doing it. I'd rather hunt safe and go home empty-handed rather than worrying about shooting at somebody's car or hitting somebody on the other side of the road. It turns out
that's
road
the right call, but the road is like,
way
probably
down.
I don't know, a couple hundred feet down or something.
It's probably 100 feet down, but I, again, not knowing, not being back there ever.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah.
You just don't know.
Yeah.
So
that sucks too, because
it could have been
it's hard
amazing.
when it's your first year in a property.
It's okay. I expected I wouldn't see anything at all.
Well, that's good. So we exceeded expectations. You hear that, Joel? Looks like Joel just joined us.
There you go.
The only guy in the
the only guy
that
in the
got a
group
buck
that pounded one.
Which I ate some of that buck last night.
Excellent.
I was pretty happy about it.
Yep.
I don't know. At what point, Greg, do you think we get to the second rut?
I think we're seeing it right now. They're kind of either they're in lockdown with a doe, or with all the human traffic, with gun season going on just recently. I think that kind of stirs things up a little bit. They're in places where they aren't smelling humans, or there isn't human sign, and it could be which would
be hard after 600,000 some dudes in blaze orange comb through the woods. But there are places that
are overlooked, gone right past. It could be as close to the parking lot as it possibly could be, or it could be far, far away where nobody wants to walk. You don't know until you get there.
Yep.
It's really
you and I had a great overlooked piece of property that I know someone shot a doe out of now.
Yep.
They hunted, so you can bring a rifle to that property, and they were up on that ridge that we were walking parallel with on the way in. And my dad had gone there over the weekend, I think the day after Thanksgiving. I think it's a blur, to see what he could do. And there's a guy that actually it sounds like he needed some special access for handicap.
Okay.
So he drove all the way back there, actually.
Oh, really?
And dropped him off, drove all the way back out, and he said, a couple days prior, he had shot a doe out of that area, overlooking where we were. So no one was actually in where we were.
No.
Still.
Okay.
But someone was, watching that edge.
Yeah, which is easy enough to do with the amount of sign that's there right on the edge of that transition. If you're a good shot with a rifle.
And with the rifle up there, that would be a fun shot, actually.
That's not even a game.
That'd be like a sniper shot.
Oh,
you
could for sure.
Freaking go prone and get him in the sights and let it rip.
Yep.
Oh, my God, that sounds fun.
From the top of the hill to the bottom, that's probably a 150-yard shot at the most. That's nothing.
Not bad. And open, too.
Yeah, very
nothing
open.
in your way. And they wouldn't have a clue you're there.
No.
So that would be fun. That'd be really fun in early season, just to bring a rifle and cheat a little bit. Gotcha! I saw you coming a mile away.
They tend to frown upon that.
Yeah, I know. Fucking laws. Back in my day, I could do whatever I wanted.
Right.
No one was there to do anything about it.
Sure. No, but I got to learn that area and learn where maybe to set a stand in the future. And after moving on from that, and Joel and I went and did our little tour and hoping to bump some deer to you guys, and it sounded like nothing came about it. I think we bumped some deer and another hunter on an opposite ridge. And then we kind of parted ways where I bumped that buck. And I just kind of slowly still hunted my way and found some more good sign and some bedding. And came top of that ridge, I bumped a doe out. And after bumping that doe out and realizing I couldn't get a shot down that way, because that's where your dad and where Mike were sitting, somewhere down there, and I wasn't going to shoot that way.
Yep.
Just let the doe go. Figured one of those two would get a shot at it, and it sounds like they did not. So,
no, it was interesting. I talked a little about this last week, but there was just far fewer shots going off in the morning, which is interesting because it seemed like there may have been more hunters. So more hunters, less shots is confusing to me.
But
even overall, there wasn't a lot going on throughout the whole area.
According to DNR data, we're down 2% though for this year.
25, I thought.
Well, 2% hunter-wise.
Oh, so we're 2%, down in hunter numbers.
Yeah, 2% less hunters this year.
So let's do some. I'm not.
You go to just type in 2019.
I'm just gonna do. Let's just say it's 600,000 from last year times 0.02, so 12,000 less hunters. That adds up, I guess.
Yeah, it's just rough numbers. I would say it's probably gonna be less in the Northwoods. Less guys, especially if they aren't having a whole lot of luck with seeing deer in the Northwoods.
Yeah, they're not seeing much anyways.
No, because of the bear and wolves.
Mm-hmm. I did have a guy from work show me a bear right below a stand.
Okay.
He's like, so I thought I heard this big buck coming, and he's like, look up, he's like, that's not a deer.
No, not
a
at
big
all.
old black bear, a big black bear.
And we had mild weather for opening weekend.
Yeah,
I think they had it all the way up to the lake.
Okay.
All the way to Lake Superior. It was pretty mild. It's towards the week more. I think Monday, Tuesday they started getting some snow, and we got rain. So, less sightings in the north.
Corn still standing.
Oh yeah, we have corn.
Less hunters.
Yep.
Allegedly more deer.
Yeah. 1.8 million to 2, something like that. It's a lot of deer.
It almost makes me think next year is going to be really great, right?
If
less hunters, more deer.
I don't know if we'll have less.
Wonder.
If we have less hunters, I mean, we are trending that way where it seems like we lose a few every year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. If we don't have a hard winter, we're going to see all sorts of deer. But gun season also ran later this year. It started later.
Mm-hmm.
So we were off. Like, guys during bow season were doing really well. They were seeing a lot, having a lot of great encounters, right? Well, years past, when gun season is a little bit earlier, that's when we get those big kills, is during the rut.
Mm-hmm.
We do really well then. I don't know. Time will tell, I guess, but they're out there, I think.
Well, they're out there, right? I see them.
Yeah.
Now that the gun opener's open, or done, or the gun hunting season is done. When is the muzzle loader? Do you know when that?
It's right now.
Okay. So
It started yesterday, and it goes till the 11th, and then immediately after that, the 12th through the 15th, we're in store for another antlerless only. No, that's not the holiday hunt.
Okay.
So the 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, it's antlerless only. You can use a gun. You can use a bow. If you're going to go out with a bow, you have to wear blaze orange. That's just the way it is.
At that point, you might as well go out with a gun, right?
Right.
Give yourself the advantage that you can. I mean,
you can't
there's hardcore people that won't. They're like, no.
Yeah, you can't shoot a buck anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, during muzzleloader, we can technically go out and hunt with a bow, but we have to wear orange.
Okay.
Got to be 50% orange.
Okay.
And then, so after that doe only season on the 15th, we have a handful of days that we can pursue bucks with bows again.
Okay.
Up until the 24th of December. Then that's the beginning of the holiday hunt. 24th of December through the 1st of January is a 9-day doe only season.
So more
open to gun.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, everybody's all about tradition, right?
Mm-hmm.
9-day gun season. Why are we doing it? Well, because it's tradition. Why don't we change that? Why don't we give it a 16-day? You look at Michigan, you look at a couple other states, they do a 2-week-long gun season. Started a little earlier. And
run a little later.
Yeah, run it a little later. And then you won't have this problem of missing your quota. You won't have to do the late doe seasons,
And people are kind of checked out at that point.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of people going out chasing does over the holiday.
But it's scarce at that point.
Very few.
I've done it, and I've seen deer, but I'm not as excited to do it. It's not the same.
No, it's at that point it might be a meat mission.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong. There's times that time of year is really cold, and you're kind of battling the elements, and it's kind of cool to be able to do that. But I don't know if you're jacked up and excited about trying to hunt a buck and you can't, and that's usually when you see one that you want to shoot.
You'll be pissed.
Yeah, you're kind of upset. So I think that's part of the reason why a lot of guys aren't doing it too. Is like, well, we know maybe that's the tail end of that second rut. The yearling fawns that haven't been bred are getting picked up now.
Sure.
So.
And food becomes a pretty important factor now, more than normal.
Yep.
Depleted energy bucks are hungry, and food sources are a little bit more scarce, right?
Right.
There's not all this, like you talked about in September when we were doing this. They could eat anything they wanted from anywhere. They had food everywhere.
They had it everywhere. Everywhere to find food, it's there.
Mm-hmm. So now there's What, like?
Well,
Maybe
now
some
and
beans,
even
maybe some corn.
there's plenty of beans, plenty of corn because the fields are still so wet. But there's no urgency to get there during daylight.
Mm-hmm.
They're not consuming the calories to keep warm. So if they don't have to consume the calories to keep warm, why get out of bed?
Interesting. I
They
don't
can
want to get
stay
a bed
where
either.
it's secure.
However, who was it that said that deer eat? I had a guest on. I think it was Chris, with Johnson Outdoors.
Yep.
Said deer eat every 4 hours.
They do eat, but if they're in a bedding area that's got plenty of browse in it and other grasses and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
again, they don't have a reason to leave the bedding area.
They'll just kind of gnaw on whatever they're.
They'll eat whatever's around them.
Smart animals, man. Kinda.
Kinda.
They're pretty stupid too, or at least
Well,
they can be. They can be smart and they can be incredibly dumb. I
Depends on the pressure that they're under.
Yeah, I'm only battling them when they're smart. It's like I never get the dumb deer, you know. I guess I do. I got a dumb one over there.
Yeah, I got a dumb one on the wall over
There
here.
you go. So Alec, I can't say your last name. Alec Ayers, Ears. Get rid of the holiday hunt. Dan Anderson, very few deer, very little shooting, a lot of standing corn, and plenty of water in the swamps. A lot of deer hiding places.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a rather large group Saturday that I pulled my little group and of another friend of mine's group together. We had a total of 15 people. The elements were not helping us. A very sharp easterly breeze with a lot of rain. By the time we made it to the spot with the big group,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, why pass up this spot? And it happens to be a timber block that is a little on the saturated side, as an understatement. I've killed deer out of that timber block. I thought, we got the manpower. We should push it on our way to the next spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was the only drive we did with that group. Everybody filled their boots. I had a dike I needed to get across. It was probably about waist deep, and I sampled it by putting one boot in. I already had a boot wet, and I went down over my knee, and I thought, well, I'm committed already. I got to get over onto the high ground and get down the top of this high ground and get posted so
You're
they
just
can
all
push.
about the suffering.
Yeah, I was done. I was wearing blue jeans and my pair of gum leaves, which doesn't matter what boot you buy, you're in that deep, nothing's waterproof. So I had my stand and my sticks on my back and my rifle, and I'm into this stuff waist deep, and I find ice. I have to break ice. I did it for 30 yards, got up to the high ground, and I was every step I took, I had
Stinks like shit too.
just water shooting out of my boots. I made it.
It's actually kind of nice when you get all that water in there.
Yeah, well, the boots didn't come off.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in muck down there.
Like once
My
you
boots-
do it and you're in it, like it actually can feel a little squishy and warm,
Yeah,
but maybe not.
no, not so much. So got to my spot, set my stand. They pushed. We had no deer come out at all. None.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, but they saw plenty of bedding in there, and there's plenty of deer poop all over the place, rubs, things like that. They just weren't there. So either somebody had already pushed it through, which I didn't find any man tracks in there. You had to cross a ditch to get into it.
Mhm.
In the ditch, you needed hip waders to get across. We found a down tree and made it through, but some of us still ended up filling boots anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it was ugly.
How many guys?
15 of us.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
guys.
That was an army. So hindsight being 2020, I wish I had taken us around the long way and drove the good stuff that was not quite as wet, but it was still wet. With all the rain and saturation we had, there's just no way you weren't getting full of mud or something in that ground.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good to get out, but the way we like
Totally
to push
different style. Huh?
Yeah, it's a push. It's not your standard go sit on a ridge and enjoy the scenery. This is you want to find deer. This is the last hurrah.
Push them through.
Right,
that's the drive. That's what you do.
That's what you do.
There's like some unspoken etiquette in hunting, right? Like, get there early, get yourself nestled in somewhere, wait for the woods to wake up, give it a little bit of time,
right,
and then maybe you can start doing some still hunting
right.
and spot and stalk and moving around, maybe trying to find a new spot. And at some point, everyone kind of gets that antsiness. They get hungry. They come out of the woods. That's when deer start to move around a little more.
Between 10 and noon is usually.
And then it's not really until, in my opinion, I don't think, unless you have a property that you're really, really familiar with, or it's your own land, like I don't know a lot of guys that are doing drives that opening day. I'm sure that they exist and people are doing it, but the drive that you're talking about happened the second week. At that point, the property's been pressured. It's been access and used. Now you want to get into the thick shit.
There's
push
bird
through
hunters
so you can
there
kick
too.
Out of there,
Yeah, there's people bird hunting. Tons of pheasant hunters out that way. Even our first drive, I had the small group with one of the guys. Like 2 minutes into the drive, I heard one gunshot. Oh, that's one of the guys. And I heard him, hooting and hollering and carrying on and what's going on. And all of a sudden, I got a text message. Yep, shot one. Deer down. Okay. Didn't say what, so it wasn't.
You got one.
Yeah, they did. The guy that wanted to shoot it, shot it, and he wanted meat, so he got it. Had higher expectations of that spot. I mean, it looked good, but it's in an area where there's a lot of bird hunters. So, if the weather was good enough to go bird hunting, guys are out there all week, bumping and pushing things around. So where they got that deer was where a bird hunter wouldn't go usually. But the funny part is maybe bird hunters should have gone in there because they kicked
up a lot of birds.
Oh yeah, they kicked five or six pheasants out of there. So
that's funny.
Yeah,
scares you every now and again. Oh my god!
Yeah, it's even better when grouse jump up in front of you or turkeys.
Turkeys are they're the thunder chickens.
Thunder
right?
chickens.
No joke, man.
B-52 grouse.
Hey guys, we're live. We got this number on the bottom of the screen. No callers. For those that don't know, we do a heated hunt giveaway. I'm supposed to do it every week, but I've been just kind of filling the bank. So with callers to do an announcement at the end of this month. In fact, if we look at the calendar here, the 24th is that Christmas Eve?
That would be Christmas Eve, sir.
All right, so we won't be doing a podcast on the 24th.
Nope.
So we'll take a break that week. We'll resume. Wow, New Year's Eve. Maybe we won't do one that day either.
2-week break from us.
So maybe we'll do the announcement on the 17th or the 18th or something like that. So anyway, we're live, and if you want to call in, we'd love to hear from you, see how things are going. Second rut is maybe a thing. Food is important. Love to hear what folks are seeing, how your season's going. If you're not going to call now, hey, no worries. We're going to go live again at 7 o'clock, and we're going to tackle a couple of topics. There's a few, like the elk hunt, not the elk hunt, but the person that shot 2 elk.
Be sure of your target and what is beyond.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. Maybe we'll take a look at some of the incident reports, see what's going on in Wisconsin. And then there's I don't even know if I want to talk about it, but we'll see the video of the folks being,
oh boy,
malicious to the deer. And
you want to make those guys famous, don't you?
I don't, and
it's really not good for us. As much as we want to,
it's terrible.
Point that out. The antis are just eating that up.
It's terrible, man. And I just want people to know, like, it makes me want to cry, to see that. I didn't see it, by the way.
Just no respect for any life in general. I've not even
watched it. And like people say, what's the punishment? I think
think of a few,
I think they're going to be like
the
kind of people that would kill a person. Like they should get put away. That's a psychological flaw. Something isn't connecting right in that brain. If that's what you're going to do to a living, breathing animal. So I think that's less to do with deer hunters, more to do with just a messed up human being.
Right.
So chromosomes aren't connecting there. Anyway, so we'll talk about some of those things. We'll be back on at 7 o'clock. But, we have a couple minutes here left on Rut Club Radio. We'd love to hear from you. We got a couple comments that came through. If there's anybody else that has anything else that they want to say or share, call in, and then you'll enter a chance to win a heated hunt. I don't know what scent could help you, whether it's heated up or not, in second rut, like maybe some corn scent. They have some sweet corn scent, so maybe that could trick the deer into thinking there's some food around or something. But heating up corn, I don't know. Maybe it travels further or something. I just don't know. I don't know what would. Or I don't know enough. This is where I'm not educated.
Sure.
There's probably an answer here. I don't know it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're used to hunting around bait piles, an odor of food would probably help you.
Mm-hmm. If deer are looking for food, is it going to drive them out of their bed in the cold?
Well,
maybe, if you know the deer's eating schedule to a degree and that 4-hour rule makes sense, maybe they'd get up for some corn rather than the browse in their bed. Maybe be like, you know what, that smells pretty good.
You're going to want to have that in an area where there is corn.
Correct.
You're not going to go dropping into a bedding area and throw this hot corn
You have to
stink
think
out.
about that stuff.
Yeah.
Just like you're not going to spray pine scent or something like that in there. There's no fucking pine trees.
Right, exactly.
Or maybe that's a little too extreme. But deer know their surroundings pretty well. Like,
yes, they
you
do.
got to play to the surroundings and make it make sense. What about calls? I don't know. Are there any calls that work well this time of year that would make sense? Like,
I mean, a contact grunt, a grunt call. I've heard does bleat. Young does do bleat. In particular, 2 years ago, I was on stand.
The bleat is the...
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
And I don't know in what context it was doing it. It was being chased by a buck, and it let out that ball, and it kept running. So it was more like a sound of distress, like
leave me alone.
Yeah, or calling for its mother to come beat up on that buck. I don't know.
Interesting. Deer are funny creatures, man.
Yeah, they are. They make some interesting noises if you have a good chance to sit with them in the woods and watch them interact.
See what they're actually doing.
It's
pretty
cool.
social animals.
Yeah.
Did you see the video of Chansey with Whitetail Adrenaline?
I did.
What the fuck was that all about?
That's probably a deer with CWD or something else going on. Because if that's a wild and healthy deer, even during the rut, they're not sticking that close to let you touch them and grab hold.
That was pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
It was fun in the comments. So you put a real good stock on that one.
Yeah.
And those guys would be the ones to do it.
Oh, they would.
Yeah,
those guys are amazing hunters.
Yeah.
They put a lot of time and a lot of effort into doing that, and it shows. So, yeah,
that was nuts.
That was nuts.
I'd be a little scared, actually. Like, this thing gonna freaking come jab me and, impale me with one of his freaking antlers.
Wow.
If he just decides to wake up for a second, freak the fuck
Right.
out, and realize, oh, I'm not in Kansas.
No.
Where did this guy come from?
Right.
It's pretty weird. It's cool to see, though. Beautiful looking buck.
Yes, it was.
One that I'd be happy with, for sure. It's a little under their class, maybe.
Right.
Well, folks, no calls. So we'll be back on at 7 o'clock. I won't just hang out for the sake of lingering. We could keep talking for 3 minutes, but we're going to go eat and come back. So if you want to pop back on at 7 o'clock, we'd be happy to hear from you about some thoughts and opinions about what's going on in the hunting world.
Sounds good.
All right, folks.